You and me together.
Together.
Constant companions forever.
Forever.
Talking about things like weather or not.
Oh, not.
Take some time out of your week.
Your week.
Listen, and then you will see
Oh, you'll see.
how much you enjoy our show or not.
Or not. You're about to experience
Constant companion.
Hello and welcome to the Constant Companion podcast. I am Dallas. I am one of your co-hosts. We have Connor here as well.
Hello, everybody.
How are you doing, Connor? You're looking good.
Thanks. I got a haircut this week. I
got one too.
You got one too?
Well, I didn't pay for it. My mom paid for it. She came and visited, and so she made me get a haircut.
Yeah, I feel like moms are that way, where moms are more... Okay, I gotta say this. My mom has probably been more responsible for the hairstyle I've had for the past 21, 22 years than I have had. Because if it were me, I probably would have grown my hair out a long time ago or done something really cool. But, of course, I've just stuck with the short hair. I mean, it's easy to manage, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do some wild things when I get out to college, except I still have to... Since I'm going to be at BYUI, I still have to, conform to the standards or whatever they have. What do they call that?
The honor code?
The honor code.
Oh, good.
I would not want my hair to violate the honor code.
And my mom would think your hair would be really long, or your hair is really long.
Probably.
Because she made me, growing up, get like a 2 or a 1 on the side.
I have a
and then
2
just kind of like get it really short.
Oh, but on the top, just get it
Your
buzzed
top
down.
is like a 10. I don't know.
It's like that. That's it. It's really not that long.
It's got like Elvis Presley hair. It's beautiful.
Dang, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You appreciate it?
I appreciate that you have good hair.
Oh, I thought you were appreciating yourself for thinking yourself, or me thanking you. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely, that too.
What about
No,
you?
not
Has
as-
there been anything exciting going on this week?
I went to the greatest concert like a week ago. Almost a week ago.
Oh, yeah, you
Have you
did.
ever-
What concert was that?
Have you heard of Mayday Parade?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We went to go see them.
I can't tell you one of their
And-
songs, but I've heard of them.
That's all right. You'll hear their song and you'll be like, I know them, but you won't know the name of it because they have some pretty like obscure.
Can
and,
you
like,
give me
weird
a
names.
sample?
Katie, don't cry. I know you're trying your hardest, but the hardest part is letting go of the nights we shared. Oh, Calla is calling. Okay, I'm done.
I'm good. Well, I was into it. I became part of the crowd at that moment.
Well, yeah, I'm almost as good as they are solo, but whatever. So I went
You
to
don't
that.
need them. You don't need them.
I don't.
You're better off
I can
without
just be
'em.
myself. Start my own a cappella band or something. I don't know. And then I also, my mom came in town. I told you that already.
Mm-hmm.
We went to this place called Tucano's.
I've heard of it.
Apparently
It
it's
always
like,
looks
it's all
good.
over. And yeah, it's so good. And they have the greatest mashed potatoes in the entire world. I'm not even lying to you because I make the best mashed potatoes, but theirs is a step up from mine. Okay.
That takes a big man to admit that.
Yeah, I'll admit it because theirs was delicious. And for those who don't know Tucano's, they literally bring meat to your table, slice it off. You just have a little thing. It's on green or red. If it's on green, they'll just keep coming to you. If it's on red, they'll stop.
Oh, it's like a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yes, that's what it is.
And they give you 20 different meats.
Yes,
I
and it's
absolutely
delicious.
love those places. I went to one at Myrtle Beach, I think, and it was they were really expensive, but it was super good. And so like it would be like filet mignon or prime rib or whatever the heck it was you want. Do you have did you say you have the little thing you flip for like go? Like I'm hungry, feed me.
Yep. If you
shove it down
have it
my
up,
gullet.
they just come, and we're just like, they're like, do you want this? I'm like, yep, just keep coming. Just keep coming. And they tried to give us vegetables, like fried vegetables or something. I'm like, I'm not here for the vegetables. Okay, you bring me meat.
Yeah, they tried to give me
Vegetables,
quail
not meat.
eggs when I was at the other one.
My mom told me she brought this quail egg. I didn't know it was a quail egg. She said it was mozzarella.
That's
And
disgusting.
I know, she's really mean at that moment. She's a really nice person. I love you, Mom. But she made me think it was mozzarella, and so I took a bite into it, and there was just yolk in the middle.
It's making
But
me
it
sick,
wasn't.
dude.
It wasn't that. It was just like a fried egg, or like a boiled egg. You know, it wasn't horrible. So I spit it out.
It wasn't
'Cause I was there
horrible,
for
so
the
I
meat.
spit it out.
It wasn't horrible, but I'm not there for quail egg. I'm there for Brazilian cooked delicious meat and sirloin steak and chicken, chicken hearts, all that good stuff.
Sounds like a good
So,
day.
yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's the benefits of having your mom come to town.
I haven't had anything exciting happen this week per se. Well, we did our podcast last week. That was my big exciting thing. Shout out to Dylan Jacobson and Nathan Thorne for their parody review of Mountain Loft Apartments in BYUI, because that went viral. And they came to me. Well, not them. I should say Dylan came to me beforehand, and he sent me the original draft of the video, and he said, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty funny. That's really cool." And then he's like, "All right, we're going to post it." That was like a month ago. And then earlier this week, he just like texted me. He's like, "Hey, we put it up." And now like 2-3 days later, it already has like 130K views. And I'm like, man, why is it like other people on their first attempt at making like a video get viral success, yet here we are like pushing it, marketing it as hard as we can, and we're lucky if we get, 100 views on something.
You know, it's because they're actually funny. Okay, we just
That's
think
true.
we're funny.
That's true.
But they have I'm just kidding. We're great. We're awesome. What am I saying?
Dude.
But I saw, I think it was yesterday or today, that the place where they live at, where they did the video, they're trying to make them take it down.
Oh,
Did you see
really?
that?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't
like
read
they were
that.
getting really mad at them.
Oh, I bet they are.
Yeah, but that's their fault for being horrible, people.
Yeah, when
and
it
not
comes
taking
to
care of the
service.
residents.
Right. I mean, it is pretty bad if you do have a crack in your TV. I gotta admit, that's just bad service in general. And
Now,
if
who
your
made the
washer
crack,
and dryer
though?
don't work, yeah, that's the real question.
Did
But
they
I-
throw something at the TV or
I don't
hit it
think
or
they
something?
would be. I don't think they would be that. I don't think they'd be that overt about it if it was something that they had done themselves.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
knowing them, they're not like that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, enough of that. Good job, guys. Don't take it down. Don't listen to the man. Keep it up. Good work. Use that as a launching pad. You guys are going to be celebrities on BYUI campus. Hey, you're that guy who complained about your apartment and got really famous because of it. I feel like if Dylan Jacobson were to ever get famous for anything, that would be what it would be, complaining about something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I see so many people commenting on it like, oh yeah, first world problems, that a big deal. It's like, well, yeah, maybe but it's still kind of crappy service. I don't care, but
if you're paying,
you have every right to complain about it.
Exactly.
But they also have every right to get made fun of if somebody thinks that they're whining about it, but I still think it's funny.
I think it's a clever whining, though.
Yeah,
If they were
exactly.
if they're just ranting on Facebook or something, like, oh my gosh, this is the worst place ever, I might get a little annoyed with it.
And here's the thing.
But
they didn't necessarily think it was going to go viral. They did it for fun. Nobody posts something on Facebook with the intent of it going viral. It was probably for just a few friends and family to check out, and then it just blew up. So
good for them. Good for them.
Anyhow, sorry, we're getting way off track.
It's all good. I just want to put a couple plugs in for some things that are coming out on Netflix, because I'm a big Netflix fan. I love to Netflix and chill, the Mormon way, not the world's way. But coming this month to Netflix, for all those who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, will remember Bill Nye the Science Guy. And he is coming out with a new show on Netflix called Bill Nye Saves the World. It's coming out on April 21st. And basically, this is like the adult form of Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's going to be doing cool experiences or experiments and stuff, but with like famous people too. And it's going to be pretty dope. I don't know, what are your thoughts on it, Connor?
Dallas and I kind of had a conversation about this earlier, where I feel like, and this sounds kind of mean, I feel like Bill Nye is a pretty well-respected person in the science community. However, sometimes I think he thinks he's way cooler than he actually is. And the extent of my opinions that actually like agree with Bill Nye are, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty that we do agree on. Obviously, I come from a religious background, so there's going to be some things that I disagree with him on. However, I think it'll be probably a rousing success for him. I think he'll have a good audience. I think a lot of kids who grew up watching him, who have matured, who are probably college students now, who probably have a lot of the same views, are probably going to look favorably upon it. So it'll probably do pretty well on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be good entertainment, even though if we don't agree with everything that he says or does. It'll still be fun to watch, I think. Also, we have another controversial show coming on called Dear White People. Have you seen this trailer, Connor? Oh my gosh.
Okay, you tell me your interpretation of it.
My interpretation is that this is just going to be a bash on white people, or those that just like oppose, or not necessarily oppose, but aren't necessarily like always respectful of black people. But by them coming out with this, it's also them not being very respectful of the white
community at large.
Community, yeah. And so, maybe I'm just interpreting this wrong, but that's just what I got from like the trailer I saw.
Okay, I'll say this. I feel like the trailer is edited in a certain way that it doesn't necessarily highlight how the series, I guess, is going to go in the future. I haven't really watched much of this. I've only read articles on it. From what I understand, it does highlight this community of people who are against, I guess, the whole what do they call it? White, not supremacy, privilege. So it highlights like white privilege, or what they interpret white privilege as. But at the same time, it also highlights kind of the ridiculousness of both sides of this big argument about racism and stuff. So it talks about racism against blacks, but it also talks about racism against whites. And it kind of highlights how those communities react to this radio show that this girl runs. And I guess the characters kind of evolve at some point in the show, and they kind of get over these things, and they start to realize that they have more in common than they have different from each other. And so I feel that there's probably a better message out there that they are taking from this, but they aren't putting it out there in their marketing campaign. They are running a very controversial marketing campaign. And I think unless you actually sit there and watch it, and like I said, I haven't even watched it, so I don't know how off the rails it goes in either direction. So unless you sit down there and watch it, I can't give it a fair judgment or a fair shake. I hope it's better than what it's perceived to be, but I don't know. I just know that if I were in charge of marketing, I would not have gone the way they did with editing their trailers for it.
Oh, I 100% agree. And if you remember like the quote from Morgan Freeman, where it says the best way to like end racism is to stop talking about it. I'm 100% against racism in any form. I am not for it. But there comes a point where it just gets ridiculous, where they're just constantly talking about the Black Lives Matter movements, all these different movements that are going on, where they're just focusing on the negativity of it and not really focusing on the positives that are coming out. Like, I'm sure there are those communities and groups that are racist and are constantly against them, but that's not a majority. I feel like as a nation, we're definitely moving in the right direction, and we don't necessarily all have those feelings.
There's definitely a microscope on this issue in particular. Not that it doesn't exist; it will always exist. It's never going to fully go away, as much as we might want it to in any community. But I think it's something that we focus way too much on, and we're very aggressive about, and we label things that wouldn't necessarily be like, that shouldn't be interpreted as that. But because of the culture in which we live, I think everything is based on this very social perspective where we don't really look at things from an economic standpoint or from a practical standpoint. We look at everything from the social standpoint in what is ethical and what is not ethical, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes I think it get out of hand when it comes to, freedom of speech or freedom of just really being able to associate, or freedom of press, all these different things that have been, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it without offending people. But I guess I shouldn't really worry about that because, like I said, it's all about freedom of speech. It really constricts a lot of people from expressing their views in a way that they want to because they're afraid they'll be interpreted as racist or sexist or whatever. Anyhow, sorry, enough about that.
No, you're good. All right, on a lighter note, just real quickly, there's 2 major movies that we want to focus on that are coming out in April. The first is Fate of the Furious, which is coming out April 14th. And the second one, I just heard about today, actually, called Born in China. It's a documentary that Disney's putting out highlighting the different animals and species in China. Mm-hmm. The first thing I want to say, though, about Fate of the Furious, I heard a theory, and I'm sure my friend Robbie, he's a big time fan of this, but that Dom from the new movie, there might be a crossover with Terminator, and he might actually be a Terminator. I don't know if this is true, because you can see the difference in his actions in the trailer of this movie as compared to his actions in the other movies. It's like a 180. It's a complete turn. And so I don't know if it's truth or not. We'll put a link to the video I saw. What is your opinion on this? Do you think this
is coming from More Bros Reviews, right? One of the guys from More Bros Reviews
exactly.
who we sat down with back in either December or January, I think. So you guys can go check that out if you want to try to figure out if their opinion is valid or not. However, for that to be a crossover, from the little I've seen of Fast and the Furious, seems like a long shot. But there are also all sorts of theories that do hold a lot of water that feel like long shots when you first hear them, like the Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord theory. But when you actually sit there and read it, it makes way more sense. So I'm not going to accept or deny the possibility of this being a Terminator crossover. Mm-hmm. I feel like it would be. I feel like my interest in Fast and the Furious as well as Terminator would go up very high if this was actually true.
I think so too, and this is the year of crossover movies, though. With Split.
It's true.
And Unbreakable.
It's very true. Spoiler alert.
And so, whoops! We already talked about it in other episodes.
Okay.
So it could be.
I think
I
it's
don't know.
True. Everything is having its own universe all of a sudden. They have that new Marvel, or not. They have Marvel, of course. They have DC. They also have the new Universal Monster Universe. They're starting with the new Mummy movie, and that's going to be a whole universe of different movies. All sorts of stuff.
It's good.
So it's not out of the question.
Pretty soon, the Avengers and the Power Rangers are going to be in the same universe.
Soon, every movie universe will come together into one.
That would be the coolest thing ever. If they just had made one major movie where all these different movies came together into the same universe.
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, and maybe Harry Potter, just to have a big movie together.
That would be amazing. I would pay for that. But on a lighter note, Born in China, if you like pandas and cute furry animals, you'll like this movie, I think. From the little I saw of the trailer, it looks pretty dope.
If you're into Animal Planet, or if you liked March of the Penguins, that was Disney, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's another nature documentary. Nature doc.
It's a one of a kind. I don't think Morgan Freeman's narrating it, but it'll still be all right.
Yeah. Interesting interview with the guy, talking about how hard it was to get some of the shots. Anyhow.
One of a kind. One of a kind.
This is something, sorry guys, I know we've never done this before, but this was something we wanted to talk about because we originally started out as a pop culture entertainment type podcast, and then we did it and we just thought it didn't work as a full podcast. So Dallas introduced the idea of starting this little thing at the beginning where we talk about some of these things we're looking forward to, and we'll see how it goes. But we're going to jump into our discussion this week. We know this is going to seem like a pretty jarring transition, but this week we're actually talking about dreams, the interpretation of dreams as well as our own dreams. And I want to ask you, Dallas, because you obviously have done some research. We both did a bit of research this week on what dreams are, what they mean, and then we're going to talk about some of our personal dreams. So what are some of these things you've stumbled upon?
I think, like, for a lot of us, there's, like, a recurring theme in our dreams, or recurring things we see in our dreams, or things we experience. So there's a website, there's an article I came across from the Huffington Post that kind of shows, like, 14 common dreams or symbols, and why they're important. I won't share all of them, but some that, like, I see a lot. I have a lot of water in my dream. And so this, like, they say here that, like, it depends on the quality of the water, whether it's clear or cloudy, calm or turbulent, which can give you more insight. Mm-hmm. But it talks a lot, like, water represents more of our emotions, of our unconscious mind. And so that's kind of one thing that they have. And then another one that always occurs in my dream is I always am in this house. And this house has rooms I'm familiar with. Mm-hmm. But as I go and I walk around the corner, all of a sudden I'm in another room that I'm not familiar with. Have you had this happen?
I've definitely, well, I don't know if I'd say I've had a dream where I'm in a house like that. I've definitely had dreams where I transition from one place to another kind of instantaneously, like I'll be in a completely different place and setting with, like, no mental recognition of that until maybe after I wake up that the dream just changed.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But go ahead.
What's interesting about, like, my dreams, though, is I always start in my grandparents' house. And then as I turn the corner, all of a sudden I'm into my aunt's house. And I'm up on a balcony, I'm overlooking a balcony, and there's no railing. And I just fall over. I don't know what this means. So that's another common thing that a lot of people have, though. Like, they're in this mansion, they're exploring it, and their new rooms. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it all means. But on the Huffington Post article, it says that these different rooms or different levels may, like, relate to the different aspects of the individual dreamer, or the different degrees of consciousness they have. Mm-hmm. Also can relate to different thoughts or feelings you're having. So I thought that was interesting.
I find it interesting that you say that every one of your dreams starts out in your grandparents' house. Are you talking about this reoccurring dream specifically?
Every one of the dreams where I'm in a house or a building always starts in my grandparents' house.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
It's funny because I've had a lot of dreams at my grandparents' house as well as my own house. In fact, I told a dream. You can go back on our YouTube. You can see it. My dream about the zombie. And that always took place in my house. It was a reoccurring dream where the zombie would come into my house. And I would always walk out into the living room and plant my face in the pillows on the couch. And it happened like every night for weeks. And I would hear him walk up the stairs and he would throw this hatchet in my back. And I would always wake up. And that was like, for weeks I had that dream. But it wasn't until I conquered my fear of facing the zombie and everything that it actually befriended me. And you can, like I said, you can see all that in another video. I don't want to jump too deep into it. But I find that to be a really interesting dream because as a kid, I feel like a lot of my dreams were much more exciting and elaborate and feel like I could take a lot more from those dreams than I can from my dreams now.
Oh, yeah.
Like generally, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio today of what I dream about. It's usually something I carry over from my day that happens in my dream, like stress or somebody I was talking to or thinking about or whatever just appears in my dream. Whereas when I was a kid, it felt like it was a lot more random with the things that appeared in my dream.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that too. My dreams now are a lot more structured than they were back when I was a kid. Where as a kid, I would have all these crazy dreams. I'll tell a story later on about a skeleton that chased me and tore out my heart. You know, I don't have those dreams anymore. Another thing that it says here, that people have dreams of flying. Have you ever had a dream of flying?
I don't think so.
I've never had a dream of flying either. But like a lot of people I talk to, they can fly in their dreams. I don't know why.
I hear that that's a common dream to have. My mom told me she had this one dream where she had like this little magic carpet in her room and she would fly around on this magic carpet and she said she would sit like cross-legged on it and there would be some like Arabic music that would start playing and she would start flying around the room or something like that. And I haven't had a dream like that, although I do remember having a dream. This isn't really similar in the sense that I was flying, but I went downstairs into my house. Of course, this happened when I was a kid. And we had a Dora the Explorer themed roller coaster in our basement. However, it was like instead of sitting in a cart, there were just these bars you hung from. And you just grip the bars. And there's like a hole cut out of our wall. And when you... instead of like walking outside and it be outside, it was like the house was flying in the sky. And so like you would hold on to the bars and it would take you like all around the house, like outside and inside. But if you gripped, if you let go, you would always fall off. I had a lot of dreams of like amusement parks and things. I'll get into one later, but yeah.
That's
this is the
interesting.
closest thing I've had to like a flying dream.
So maybe the reasons we don't have flying dreams, because it says people that have flying dreams are often confident and able to achieve their goals. Are we achieving our goals?
I think we might be, but I don't think we're confident about it.
So we need the confidence part is what you're saying.
When it comes to this podcast, I didn't think we were even going to get to this point where we have roughly around 60 listeners an episode. I didn't think we'd even get that far, frankly.
You need to be more confident so you can fly in your dreams.
I want to fly in my dreams, man. I'd be way more. Maybe that's what we need to do. Instead of being confident for like the things that we want to occur in real life, we just need to be confident for the fact that we want to be able to fly in our dreams.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
I want that too. I want it to be. Have you seen the episode of The Office where Dwight Schrute is playing Second Life?
Mm-hmm.
And he his thing flies through the air. That's what I want my dreams to be like. I want to just fly through the air.
You could just buy Second Life. Second Life.
I already
VR,
have a life
dude.
though.
Yeah, I guess I don't have time for a second one.
No, I don't either. I barely have time for my dream life, so I can't even fly in my dreams. So whatever. Goodness gracious.
Oh, jeez.
So those are some of the common themes and symbols we see in our dreams.
I wanted to read some from a study I found actually.
Okay.
So along with that, there's a study by Delhi Technological University in India by Atif Zubair. I apologize if I am pronouncing that incorrectly. It's 6 surprising things that can influence your dreams. So these are like outside factors, I guess kind of like the other one. One thing I found interesting is, I'll just read a few just headlines of these. Okay, this one is nightmares can be shared, which I've heard about, and I'll talk about that in a second. Genes influence your nightmares. I'm not talking about denim. I'm talking about the ones you inherit from your parents. Not hand-me-downs, but like scientific genes. The Earth's magnetic field triggers weird dreams, supposedly. Black and white television gives you black and white dreams.
Really?
Apparently. I'll just read this. It says, other studies have shown that since the 1960s, 83% of the population dreams in color, a timeline that coincides with the advent of color TV. Where it says, back in, I guess, okay, it says, Musin found that her respondents aged 55 and over had colorless dreams 20% of the time, leading her to believe that children were exposed to black and white film and TV from the ages 3 to 10 are more likely to dream in grayscale throughout their life. Interesting. Also, different cheeses, so if you are a cheese connoisseur, can affect your dreams. This might be a bit hard to digest, but that's a pun, I think. But a study has found that different types of cheeses can affect your dreams. All cheeses contain an amino acid called tryptophan. And I'm pronouncing that wrong. Which is helpful in normalizing sleep and reduces stress levels.
Really?
However, the British Cheese Board discovered that subjects who normally ate cheddar cheese dreamt more about celebrities. The people who ate blue cheese experienced bizarre dreams. Cheshire gave the best night's sleep, but it caused dreamlessness. The people who ate red Lancashire had nostalgic dreams about their families and childhood. And the ones who ate blue Lancashire mostly dreamt about their work.
Really?
It's all in the cheese, man.
Really, it is in the cheese. Also, I heard that apple juice gives you more vivid dreams. If you drink apple juice before you go to bed, it gives you like really vivid dreams because it increases the production of neurotransmitters in the brain. Is what
dude.
What it is. I don't know if it's true. I've done it before actually, and it's worked some of the time. And so I always drink apple juice before I go to bed.
That's awesome. And also, it says, what you hear and smell influences your dreams, which is obvious because that has definitely been in my dreams where I have heard something going on and it's occurred in my dream, but from maybe somebody else or in a different type of setting, or maybe it's even something I hear, but I'm aware of in the dream, but it's affecting some things. I don't know. However, I wanted to talk about some dreams that we've had, and I want our dreams to be interpreted. Actually, Dallas came up with this. We recently stumbled upon a dream interpreter. Why don't you explain that to us real quick, Dallas?
Definitely. So the website's called whatyourdreamsmean.com. And basically what you do is you type in this box like a dream you had, and it will come up with all like the key words or phrases you had in your dream, and it will give you what each of them mean. Specifically. So like one of mine, I'll just share a quick one real quick. I was in a pool, a swimming pool, and I knew there was something in the pool. I didn't know what. And I was looking around and the water was kind of distorted, and I saw this blob coming towards me. And I'm thinking, what is this? And I'm thinking, why is it coming to me? All of the sudden, this whale emerges. I
thought it was going to be something else entirely, honestly. Sorry, go ahead.
This killer whale emerges from the water and starts chasing me. And all of a sudden, these sharks and these dolphins start chasing me too. In the water. And so I'm freaking out. I'm flapping all over the place. I'm not a good swimmer. So I try to get over, and right as it's about to eat me, I wake up. Okay? And so a couple of the key phrases I got, all right, so I typed in, pool is the first one, because I was in a pool. And it says, your emotional pool. Are you containing or hiding in your emotions? Could even symbolize something you may want to dive into, sometimes referring to the dating pool. I could probably do better at the dating pool, actually. And maybe and then the
The
whales.
whale's your wife.
Don't call her that.
That's what you called her, dude. You dreamt about it.
I did. That doesn't mean that they're. No, okay. Let me just explain what the whales mean. It says a whale of an issue, a whale of an accomplishment, a whale of an opportunity.
A whale of a wife.
A whale of a wife. Can also represent your ability to survive an emotional situation. Or wife. And then swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Your ability to handle an emotional situation. So while I'm swimming and the whales are there, am I able to handle them? No, because it was about to eat me before I woke up. Which brings another point. Do you die if you die in your dreams?
You mean do you die in real life?
Yes.
Well, seeing as I'm still alive from multiple deaths in dreams, I'm going to guess that's probably false.
Okay, it's just an urban legend.
You tell me.
I don't know. So that's my interpretation. I don't know what is your interpretation of this interpretation?
I don't think it's completely inaccurate. I feel like when there's dreams that lack context, like here's the thing. I feel like there's some interpretation that's total BS. I think most interpretation is probably BS because I think dreams are just kind of wacky and weird and could mean a number of things, if anything at all. But I do think there are dreams like that where I feel like if I were to dream about something scary, I'm obviously stressed out. So I think you could look at these things and you could tie them back to something that influenced them. Like I have nightmares about, like I said, the zombie because I'm scared of the zombie because it stressed me out. I was having stress that night, so I dreamt of that zombie because that's what my mind was thinking of. So maybe that is what it goes back to. So I think saying the whale is something that, what was it? What was the whale again?
A whale of emotion or a whale of whatever.
So I don't think it's completely inaccurate. I think I think when I think of being in a pool, I think of being like helpless almost because I'm trying to swim. Like I don't know, like you're cut off from any sort of land or you lack the ability to keep yourself afloat. I don't know. I feel like in a dream, my abilities to keep myself alive like downgrade dramatically. Like all of a sudden I only have like 15% of control over my body in my dreams. There have been very few dreams where I was actually like lucid and knew where. I can think of one dream where I was ever lucid, and it was in this dream where I was in a gas station and there were some robbers and everything was in like Grand Theft Auto style. And I remember I realized in the dream that I was in a dream, and I'm like, you know what? I can just summon a crowbar. I don't know why I decided to summon a crowbar of all things, but I'm like, I could just beat these guys senseless. And so I did in my dream. I just beat them senseless. And instead of being a nightmare anymore, it just became this really cool dream. That's the only time that's ever happened to me, ever. Sorry, I'm getting off subject.
That's dope. No, you're good. While you were talking, I looked up some Yahoo answers, and someone had the same question I just had. One guy said it's not true. You won't die if you die in your dream. But another person made a good point.
Okay, let's hear it.
She said, if you died in your dream and then died in real life, how would we know that you died from your dream? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would we be able to determine that your dream caused your death, or was it just a heart attack or whatever? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
That does make sense. So there are select cases where that does happen.
But we don't really know.
But there's essentially there's the potential that happens. Correct?
There's a potential, yes.
Will
we ever know? I don't know.
Anything else that you'd like to share?
I got one more, just real quick.
Okay, go for it.
I remember as a young child, around the age of 4 or 5, having a dream about this corpse that was following me. I was basically in hell, okay? And I was just hell, and there's these metal like railings, and you just walk around hell. And
I hear it's warm
all of a sudden,
around this time of year.
It was pretty warm, and I see this skeleton man. And I remember this skeleton man because I saw a play that had a skeleton in the play, dressed up in one of those black suits with the skeleton outline stuff. Okay? This skeleton started chasing me. So I run out of hell. I don't know how I got out of hell, but I did. And I ran into my backyard, and all of a sudden this corpse, this dead body, this skeleton attacks me with a knife. And he brings the knife to my heart, and he just starts going down and ripping my chest open. I don't feel a thing, though. I don't feel a thing. I'm just fine with it, I guess, or something. I don't know. All of a sudden, all you can see is just my heart just beating right there on my chest. And then I woke up. What does this mean?
I feel like this is very similar to my zombie dream.
I
He's
think
probably
so.
friends with the zombie.
He probably
If you
is.
befriended him, I bet he would have helped you if you would yell "kill me" in your dream, and he would probably have been. He would have evolved into some red monster like mine did. They're like Pokemon.
It's got you
It's
just collect
the
them all.
digital world in Digimon. It's the same sort of thing.
Yes.
It's like the metaverse.
I agree with that. You just collect them all, and they'll just be your friends
We have
forever.
to collect the things in our. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yes, it does. But in real life, what this person's saying is that it may be skeletons in my closet. And as 4 years old, what are skeletons in my closet? I think I stole a chain from my friend once, just a chain that connects to each other and stuff. And so I stole that once. And I never gave it back, and I still feel bad for it to this day.
Did you ever borrow any movies or games from a friend and never return them back?
Maybe Pokemon cards, but that was about it, actually.
Pretty clean cut
So,
kid.
yeah, but when he rips open my heart, though, the heart represents your feelings or your love for somebody, is what this is saying. But if there's something wrong with the heart, such as a heart attack, or I guess me getting ripped open, it's likely connected to a heartache or broken heart. And I know exactly what it is now. I was thinking about it, and I know what it is.
Lay it
okay?
on me.
I was in kindergarten. There was this girl who was in 5th grade. Her name was Mary Jane.
Mary Jane the
And-
Cougar.
That's just a quote-unquote, not a real name.
Okay, gotcha.
But I remember her. She was a blonde. She was cute, okay? And I remember I liked her. And I remember going up to her at lunch one day and be like, Mary Jane, I love you so much. You're so cute. Do you want to be my girlfriend? And that was the first time I got rejected. I don't know if it's against the law for a 5th grader to date a kindergartner.
Should be.
Or what. It should be. There needs to be some law, so I don't even pursue it in the future.
What was her response exactly?
She said, quote unquote, "Oh, you're so sweet, but you're too young for me, homeboy."
She sounds like she was from the ghetto. You probably dodged a
Yes.
bullet there, dude.
I probably did. In the ghetto of Round Rock, Texas, right by Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it was a good thing.
Maybe.
I remember her and this other friend were always together, and it was really embarrassing because the friend was laughing while I was asking her out, and it
But
was horrible.
Needless to say, she ripped your heart out like the skeleton.
She's the skeleton in my closet. Well, she's not in my closet. She's at school, and she's ripping my heart out. First time rejected.
Interesting. I have a dream
Okay.
that I had interpreted by this same, because I think this is a woman who interprets dreams, and she created this system to interpret dreams for you, or at least certain elements of your dream.
Yeah.
so-
she looks like a 30-year-old or 40-year-old redhead.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like there's so many episodes, like so many things we could talk about with dreams. We might even do another episode later following up on this at some point. I would love to, because I feel like there's so many more I could touch on. But this one in particular sticks out to me for no discernible reason. So when I was in 1st grade, I got to give a little pretext. I had this bus driver I loved named Barb. And I remember on the very first day of school for kindergarten, we went onto the bus, me and my mom, because they were like showing the kids what it's like to ride a school bus. And it was back in the 90s, and Pokemon was really popular. And she mentioned, she's like, now just make sure not to bring on your Pokeballs, because one of these times I had a Pokeball run under my brake pedal, and I couldn't stop the bus.
What?
And I thought it was hilarious. And so from that day forward, me and Barb were good friends. And so me and my friend Cody would get on the bus every day, and we would talk to Barb and make jokes. And she was like a really good friend. Anyhow, one day I had this dream, and I woke up and I went outside. It was like 6 a.m. I look outside the window, and I see that there's like a lake in our backyard. And we don't have a lake in our backyard. We have a cornfield. And I'm just kind of like looking through it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a dinosaur, is it brontosauruses that have the really long necks? Is that what they are?
You're thinking of the Stegosaurus.
I don't think it's a stegosaurus.
Okay, then I don't
Well,
know.
I'm just going to call them long necks, like in Land Before Time, because I'm really terrible with dinosaur names. Anyhow, a long neck raises its head, kind of like Nessie. I guess it was probably more like a Loch Ness monster than it was a dinosaur. But anyhow,
Yeah,
it
it is
raised its neck
Brontosaurus.
out of the water. And I remember the water like cascading down it. And me just like looking, like drinking a cup of milk, looking out my window at this thing. And it gets out. And all of a sudden I know that it's just angry and it's going to come straight for me, even though it's, I don't know, 100 feet off. So I like grab my lunch. I run out the door. I go out into our driveway. And all of a sudden it was like a movie. I remember Barb pulls up into the driveway. She pulls open the bus door and she's just like, "Get in, kids!" And so we run into the bus and she reverses out of our driveway, gets on the road, gets going. And I remember like all the kids on the bus are like on the backs of their seats looking at the emergency exit door, and this thing is chasing us. But it's on its legs, so I guess it is more like a dinosaur. Anyhow, finally we get to, I don't know, a mile out. And then all of a sudden, everything just goes black, and the thing stepped on us and killed us. And I woke up, and I've always wondered why the heck I had that dream. And so here is what I had told to me. So what it means to die, it says change, the old dying off in order to make way for the new, the end of an issue or relationship. I do not remember.
Barb.
Right. I do not remember where in my relationship and Barb this was, because I remember one day, the next year probably, Barb was not my bus driver anymore. Never saw Barb ever in my life again. So that could be what that was referring to. Buses. Now, this is interesting. It says, one of the slowest means of getting from point A to point B. Are things going slowly for you? Can also symbolize conforming, going along with the masses. If missing a bus may be, okay, I didn't miss the bus. It says a bus is also a multi-passenger vehicle, so it may reflect a direction you are headed where others are involved as well. So me and all of these kids are headed for sudden doom, I assume, at some point in our life.
From the Pokemon ball.
Dinosaurs. Okay, here we go. Something from your past that you thought was extinct may be resurfacing. Whatever this old issue or behavior is your dream is showing it to you in the form of a dinosaur to let you know it does not belong in your present. Something from the past. I don't know what that would be, because like I said, I was in kindergarten at the time. So being chased, it says you are running from some issue or confrontation in waking life. What or whom are you avoiding? Is it something from your past you don't want to deal with? Is it a secret you don't want to expose? Is it a commitment you were trying to get out of? Also, I think that's it, actually. So there must have been an issue I was running from as a kid. And one of the things I remember being really scared to do as a kid was go to my friend's house. I was afraid of going to his house, having to walk around the block, he was only 5 houses down the street. But I literally remember like talking to neighbors trying to figure out where he lived and being so confused. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's just like a block down." And at the time I had no idea what a block meant. And I remember being scared of ever trying to go to my friend's house. So maybe that had to do with it, because the whole dream took place in my neighborhood. I don't know, dude. That's just my rough interpretation of that dream.
Wow.
What
That's
do you
intense. You know what? I'm thinking the exact same thing. You're running. You're running from your friend. You're scared of your friend.
You know what's funny? as much as I remember students being on that bus, this kid who lives 5 streets down, this kid who I always associate with Barb because we were good friends with Barb, he wasn't in the dream. Was he the dinosaur? Was he mad at me because I wasn't going to his house because I was what he thought was me avoiding him, even though I was just too scared?
Oh my gosh, that's intense.
He was
Maybe
not on the
I think
bus.
it is. I think it is.
That's what it
Yep,
is.
100%. 100%.
I wonder what the lake meant, though. I feel like that meant something.
Maybe the emotions of that you were feeling.
The tears that were shed the day
the
that
tears.
I went to go find his house and couldn't find it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It
so
was the
he
emotions,
became
the tears.
he became buried by my emotions. That's why I was too scared to go to his house because of my own emotions. That's why he came out of the lake. Yes, we figured it. Thank you, dude. Thank
Dude,
you.
This is why we do this.
Thank you, whatyourdreamsmean.com or whatever the heck this is called. I forget what the name of this lady is. I got to go back and check because I owe all this to her. Does she even have her name on this? She just says she was on the Dr. Oz, the Katie Couric Show, the Steve Harvey Show, The View, Good Morning America, The Today Show. I feel like this lady's lying because she doesn't even list what her name is.
Yeah, what is her name? Lori.
Lori.
Yep.
Lori's new dream book. There's a little ad down here for, I don't know about this, phone dream sessions. Set up a private one-on-one phone session with Lori.
That's a little sketchy. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't think we think
I
the
feel
same
like
thing
this
that
site
she's thinking.
may not be what we think it is.
Lori Lowenberg is her name.
Gotcha.
She's
Thank
a
you,
dream
Lori
expert
Lowenberg.
and author.
You should come on our next dream podcast.
I'm too scared of her. Let's not have her on.
Let's not have her on. Yeah, me too.
I don't want her
I'm kinda
to
afraid.
judge me or interpret me.
Okay, so real quick, we're going to finish out. We have one more segment for you guys. This is a snack attack. As far as I'm not skipping anything, am I, Dallas?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, snack attack. This goes back to when I was a kid, when I couldn't sleep, and I was having a rough time trying to go to bed. I would go to my mom, and she would make me this drink. And when I got older, I used to, well, not really older. When I got like a year older, so I was probably like 3 at the time. And when I was 4, I found out how to make it myself. And I thought I was a genius because not only would I make this drink, but I had my own added ingredients to it. So essentially, you want to get to bed. Everybody says you should make a warm cup of milk. Who wants to drink warm milk? That sounds disgusting. You could do hot chocolate, but sometimes hot chocolate is a big powdery mess. So what you've got to do is you want to make the vanilla version of hot chocolate. And so you go and you get a bit of vanilla extract, like 1 or 2 drops max, and you put it into like a mug with your milk, and then you stir it around, and then you microwave it for like a minute 15 seconds till it's nice and warm. You don't want it to be too hot. And then if you want to, well, you probably should add a bit of sugar just for a little bit of sweetener, and you stir it up. Now, it's not a dream quite yet. You have to add purple food coloring to it. This was my own added ingredient as a kid. And I used to make it for my sisters, and we dubbed it Purple Dream when we were toddlers.
Ooh.
And it's actually a decent drink. It's just like vanilla milk, just hot. It's like vanilla hot chocolate if there was ever such a thing.
Interesting.
Without the chocolate. Purple Dream. You should try it out. It's my own creation. Make sure to write in your opinions of it. Do you have anything else you'd like to share, Dallas?
Yes. In relation to Purple Dreams, there's also one I call Purple Dreams, which is grape soda and ice cream put together. It's like a root beer float, but a grape soda float.
You really had something called Purple Dreams?
Yep, and it's
That's
delicious.
awesome.
It is delicious. So
Dang,
that's
dude.
all I have to say about that.
We must be connected through our dreams or something.
I think we are.
We probably had a dream that inspired us to do this.
Just last
Interesting.
night, actually. Yeah.
So that's going to be the end of the podcast for this week, guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any comments, if you want to suggest any changes or suggest segments you would like us to have or even guests, you can always write to us at constantcompodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube, you name it. You can probably find us there. We encourage you. Go ahead.
Also, check out our brand new spanking awesome website.
Yes, please.
Okay. ConstantCompanionPodcast.com. It looks dope. Connor did it. Just kidding. We both did it.
We both did it.
And it looks dope. So you can also contact us on there, find our past episodes, anything you want to do. We love you.
We encourage you to leave a rating on iTunes. Like we always say, be honest with your review. If you think it was 5 stars, that's fantastic. If you think it was 0 stars, that's cool too. Just leave a review for us so that we can know how to improve ourselves. We have some guests in the works coming, exciting guests. We have to make sure that we have everything lined up according to guidelines in order to feature them, though, so we will see how that goes. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we are your constant companion wherever you go. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.
Good night.
Take some time out of your week.
Your week.
Listen, and then you will see
Oh, you'll see.
how much you enjoy our show. Or not.
Or not. You're about to experience
Constant companion.